Related, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. For a very long time now, we have been bombarded with a specific narrative about the conflict in the Sahel. We see heavily produced propaganda videos circulating online, designed to convince the world that our national defense forces are suffering catastrophic losses at advanced outposts. But let's look at the actual reality on the ground. These videos are captured exclusively during the opening minutes of an encounter, a brief moment when an insurgent group gets a temporary element of surprise against a forward position. They film it immediately because they know their window is small. What the propaganda networks don't show you is what happens next. Very quickly, our rearguard forces mobilize, support the line, and launch a heavy counter-attack. The reality of these encounters is that the enemy is completely routed and put into total disorder. They are losing an enormous number of men in places like Savary, Gao, Napala, and Aguho. The General Staff has made it clear the situation in these sectors is totally under national control. Our forces are fighting bravely, and the enemy simply does not measure up. Because they are beating the dust in these sectors, they have turned to a desperate second wave of attacks, specifically targeting the locality of Gona. Why Gona? Because they are chasing a media exploit. They want to recreate the panic of 2012 when external powers claimed that if they didn't intervene in Gona, the columns will march 600 or 700 kilometers to capture Bamako. That was their propaganda back then to justify their presence, and it's the same propaganda today.
Except this time they are deceived. We know them, we had come. They also lost many men. They circulated a propaganda video, probably, that it was at the beginning of the fight, because they surprised some enemies, who were at the forward post level, but very early. Our other elements that are not behind retaliated and pressed and routed the enemy. Of the total roads of the Bedaines, even. People of Africa, indeed, they have not made the weight so far General Staff releases. Says that the situation is totally under control, but the details of CE that happened in Aguilhawk, I haven't had those details yet. We continue to inform ourselves, to search for information, and we will come back to you. As far as the details of what happened in Kidal are concerned, how our defense and security forts are beaten. Do you understand the terrorists in the meantime? Once they lost to Severe in Gaua, to Nephis, to Gueluk, everywhere a few hours after. They started to launch a second series of attacks, and this time, it is against the locality of Conan. You remember the locality of Conan in 2012? When the young French girl arrived there, yes, Conan is threatened, so we must intervene quickly. Otherwise, they will go down on Bamako. The objective was not even Bamako. And then they did not have the means. Bamako. More than 600 kilometers from there, or even 700. But it's their propaganda. We saved Bamako. More than 600 kilometers, more than 700 kilometers away. Well, if it can relieve them. So they attacked Conan a few hours after they bit. The loop to escape. So they took a lot of men. They wanted, at least it's an achievement. A feat to then give it to whom Sergeant Daniel Wasim Nasri, who will come and sit and meet anything. They attacked the locality of Conan, and there, again, the terrorists have bitten the dust. They lost many men. At the same time, they were gathering to try to attack the locality of Somadugo. And there also, it did not work. The locality of the Sums of Water. While they were in the middle of a gathering, the information was used to detect in real time their gathering place. And our air rescues did not do with half measures. The terroirs at this level have still been pulverized. If you notice here, it is almost wintering. There is mud here and there. But this is the time chosen for this hour, to try suicide attacks. They made 3 at the Burkina at the same time, 4th. They lost more than 300. We want to see more than 400 fighters. They evolved on the side, I don't know at all, there too. They lost many men. And they want to come back to the Mali side. They try to type from left to right. But it doesn't work. Emmanuel Macron. You know when their uncles talk to us about what and what? You have many terrorists. We neutralized. You have child soldiers. Among them are crimes. Against humanity, why enlist children? And send them to the slaughterhouse. You will never see in the ranks of the Malian army or an army of the Eastern countries. The famous expert specialists. A finger that defends terror actions. Against us have they lost their language. People of Africa, we will come back to you with other possible information. Thank you, family. Watch for yourself the video that France Afrique Media has published. It shows us clearly the terroro which are filmed. Who are going to attack? Do you see a little? You can now see who is behind these attacks. In fact, we have all the evidence day and night. They show us that they are the ones who are at the base. Watch the video they have published. You have seen this video. You won't see it anywhere if it's not on this page. France Africa Media. France Africa Media. They are the ones who are in contact with these people. These terror. That is, when they will do their dirty work. They film themselves and then they send them, and then they do propaganda. You see a little... If you do not have link how these people will send you these kinds of videos. Then you made the Africans believe that you are a journalist. Today, Africans have finally understood who you really are. Comment? 400 terrorists can be detected in the Sahel. Your fever, your communication area. 400 euros won in 24 hours, and you didn't rush to do your job as a journalist. I don't understand. So in reality, you are not journalists. You are the communicators of the terrorists. Because to know it, you just have to reverse the situation. Let's imagine that it was the terrorists who want to prevent. There are only three soldiers left in Mali. Whether it's in Burkina or Niger, I say there are only 3 soldiers left. You will be silent a long time ago. You are invited on your communication channels to decoct how these terroro were able to eliminate these 3 soldiers. But today, we are talking about 400 wanted terrorists. You lost your tongue, lost it says. You are total silence. You are a journalist of what journalist I do not understand. Africans eventually became aware because of your behavior, and that I thank you.
They brought a lot of men to Gona to get a sensational video that they could feed directly to their media, who are always ready to broadcast their claims without any field verification. But just like in Savary, the TT in Gona beat the dust and lost a massive amount of men, according to our brother Isa. The exact same thing happened when they tried to gather and organize an attack against Samaduga. Our intelligence services detected their exact assembly point in real time. Our array asset moved in immediately without any half measures, and the T at that location were completely paralyzed. This desperate pattern is happening across the entire region. In Burkina Faso, they tried to launch 3 simultaneous attacks and lost over 300 to 400 fighters. They tried the same thing on the side of Niger and lost a massive number of men. Now, they are trying to swing back toward Mali, striking left and right, but nothing is working. And let's talk about the absolute hypocrisy of the international community and their specialized experts in human rights. According to Brother Isa, a lot is still happening, but for now, everything is under control, and they'll give us more details. Like he rightfully pointed out what is happening in Gona and other places. And this time, the propaganda will not work. Like majority of them are asking them, you are quick in claiming you are analyzing issues, but when our men are able to do something, you don't find them talking about it. But whenever the T release something, you see them very quick. But what saddens most is for you to see our skin type also involved in the fight against the continent. But whatever it is, we know the forces are strong. We'll continue to fight for the total liberation of ourselves. The African has risen, and our leaders keep equipping themselves, because we realize that the reason to which we were never able to match up with them is because they determine the kind of equipment we use, and they decide to give, like according to report, empower these people so that our military wouldn't be able to stand up to them. And we heard Captain Ibrahim Traore in one of his interviews or address telling us that when they even came into office with their own money, they needed these things, but they refused to sell them, to the point that even the countries that agreed to sell to them, they blocked. And that was what took them to Russia and China, because they were willing to sell these things to them for protection. So it doesn't mean that the African soldier is weak, but the right equipment that we need is what we are lacking. And that is how come we are still where we are even today. And it looks like the African cannot do anything. We can defend ourselves. And the narrative they are pushing right now is the same narrative they want to push, to the point that when it started in Mali, that was April 25th, we saw how they were spreading the information to the point that they told the whole world that the Russian mercenaries were leaving, which wasn't true. We saw how they were saying the Malian armed forces wouldn't survive. Some came out, even the French politicians, giving them 2 weeks to leave or make a deal with the TT people. If not, and we have seen that all the plans are failing and our leaders are still standing tall. So the African can do it, and we need to unite like the unified force in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have proven everybody wrong. And now we are seeing that the Togolese foreign minister is calling for the other P to join. And then we saw that Dr. Rekana is also telling them to stop being puppets and then join the Sahelian leaders so we can fight for our total liberation. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.